When your dog chews on your shoes, furniture, or anything they can find, do you actually know what that means? It looks like simple destruction. Like they're being naughty, careless, or even trying to get back at you. But behind that chewing, there's something deeper that most dog owners completely miss. It's one of the most instinctive and emotionally driven things your dog can do. And if you misunderstand it, which most owners do, you might confuse your dog, increase their stress, and even make the behavior worse. Let's start with what this behavior really means. 1. It's not destruction, it's communication. You walk into your home, your favorite shoes are torn apart. The couch corner is shredded. Your first thought? They did this on purpose. Most people think chewing is about bad behavior, lack of discipline, maybe even revenge. Here's what's actually happening. Your dog isn't trying to destroy your things. They're trying to times process something internally. Chewing is a natural behavior. It's how dogs explore, regulate, and cope emotionally. It's closer to a human biting their nails or fidgeting when stressed. Think about that for a second. Your dog isn't thinking about your shoes. They're responding to something inside themselves. In a pack environment, dogs don't misbehave to upset others. They act based on instinct, need, and emotional state. So when your dog chews something inappropriate, it's not rebellion. It's communication. And this is where most owners get it wrong. 2. Chewing is how dogs self-soothe. Have you ever noticed your dog chewing more when you're not home? Or after a stressful situation? Most people assume they're bored. And yes, boredom plays a role. A 2020 study in canine behavior research found that repetitive actions like chewing can reduce cortisol levels, the hormone add to stress. In simple terms, chewing literally calms your dog down. It's their version of emotional regulation. Think about that for a second. When your dog chews, they're not just passing time. They're times managing how they feel. This is especially true for dogs dealing with separation, anxiety, overstimulation, or uncertainty. So, when you punish chewing without understanding the cause, you're not fixing the problem. And here's where it gets even deeper. 3. Your scent makes certain objects irresistible. Why your shoes? Why your clothes? Why not the dozens of toys you bought? Most people think, my dog just prefers these items. Here's what's actually happening. Dogs experience the world primarily through scent. A 2021 study from the University of Helsinki found that dogs can recognize and emotionally respond to their owner's scent even when it's hidden. Your dog isn't just recognizing your scent. They're attaching emotional safety to it. Think about that for a second. Your shoes don't just smell like you. They times feel like you, times to your dog. In a pack, scent is identity. It's connection. It's presence. So when your dog chews your belongings, especially when you're gone, they're not destroying something important to you. They're holding on to something that feels like times you asterisk. What this reveals is powerful. Your dog sees you as their safe base, and chewing your scent-soaked items is their way of staying connected when you're not there. And hey, if this makes sense to you, hit like and subscribe. It helps us reach more dog owners who actually want to understand what their dog is really saying. 4. This behavior starts in puppyhood and never fully disappears. Think back to when your dog was a puppy. They chewed everything. Furniture legs, hands, random objects. Most people think they'll grow out of it. Hairs. What's actually happening? Chewing begins during teething. It relieves discomfort and helps develop jaw strength. But it doesn't stop there. In wild canine packs, young dogs learn about their environment through their mouths. They chew, test, and interact physically with the world. Think about that for a second. Chewing isn't just a phase, it's a lifelong instinct. What changes is times. Why times they chew? Puppies chew to explore and relieve pain. Adult dogs chew to cope, relax, and stay mentally engaged. So when you expect your adult dog to just stop, you're asking them to suppress a deeply wired behavior. And that's where frustration builds on both sides. 5. They don't chew everything. They choose what matters. Here's something interesting. Your dog doesn't destroy times everything asterisk. They choose specific items. Your shoes, your socks, that one corner of the couch. Most people overlook this, but here's what's actually happening. Your dog is selective, and that selection is emotional. Think about that for a second. They're not randomly chewing. They're choosing objects that either smell strongly, like you feel satisfying to chew, or are associated with comfort or routine, and here's where it gets even more powerful. They don't do this with everyone's belongings. They do it with times, yours asterisk. What this reveals is simple but profound. Your dog isn't just attached to the environment. They're attached to times you asterisk, and their chewing behavior reflects that bond. 6. The real message behind the chewing. So, what is your dog actually saying? Let's bring it all together. When your dog chews your belongings, especially when you're gone, most people think they're being destructive. But here's what's actually happening. Your dog is trying to feel safe. They're regulating stress. They're connecting with your scent. They're engaging an instinct that's been with their species for thousands of years. Think about that for a second. This isn't about the object. It's about times what the object represents asterisk. You, comfort, security. And here's the part most people miss. This behavior is rooted in trust. Your dog feels safe enough in your environment to express their needs, even imperfectly. They're not hiding it. They're not suppressing it. They're showing you exactly how they feel. And that's something deeply vulnerable. 7. When chewing becomes a warning sign. Now here's something important. If your dog suddenly starts chewing more than usual or becomes destructive out of nowhere, don't ignore it. Here's what's actually happening. Sudden changes in chewing behavior can signal increased anxiety, lack of mental stimulation, environmental changes, or even underlying health issues. Think about that for a second. Your dog doesn't have words. Behavior is their language. So, when that behavior changes, it's often a message that something isn't right. And this is where awareness matters most, because catching that signal early can make all the difference. So next time your dog chews on your shoes or furniture, remember this. It's easy to see destruction. But that's not what it is. That's not bad behavior. That's communication. That's emotional regulation. That's instinct. That's connection. And most importantly, that's your dog trying to feel close to you in the only way they know how. That behavior, it was never small to your dog. And it shouldn't be small to you either.